According to the internet, modern men are simultaneously too soft and too toxic, too broke and too materialistic, too emotional and too emotionally unavailable. We're apparently both the cause of society's collapse and also not man enough to fix it. So riddle me this, Batman. If we're so fucking terrible, why are more men than ever walking away from the game entirely? Why are dudes choosing their PlayStations over pussy, their gym memberships over marriage, their passports over playing house? Well, for the next however long it takes, we're going deep. I'm talking historical receipts, uncomfortable statistics, and enough truth bombs to get me canceled on Twitter twice. Follow me on X, bro. We're gonna find out why your great-grandfather could support a family of 6 on a factory salary and still get his fucking balls drained nightly, while you're out here making 6 figures or chasing 6 figures and still jerking off to anime girls. But here's what separates this from your average woe is me incel podcast. I'm not here to cry about it. I'm here to explain it, laugh about it, and give you the fucking manual your dad was too busy at his second job to write. Buckle up, kings. This is The Modern Man's Manual. Episode 1, Have Men Changed? And spoiler alert, the answer probably gonna piss you off. So today's topic is, have men changed? And that's within all regards. Specifically, but within all regards. Comparatively, men between 1960, and I've picked that date for a reason. The men of 1960 to now versus the 1950s, the 1940s, the 1700s, 1600s, 200 AD, etc. You get it. You get the point. Are modern men different? That is the question. And my argument is yes. My thesis is yes. And it's because of a plethora of reasons that we'll go into today. But my thesis overall, my argument is yes. Exhibit A. The romantic interdynamics between men and women have changed. So let's paint a picture of dating as a whole in general. What is the definition of dating? Dating is a form of romantic courtship, typically between 2 individuals with the aim of assessing the other's suitability as a partner in an intimate relationship or as a spouse. The result of dating may at any time lead to friendship, any level of intimate relationship, marriage, or no relation. People get ghosted, shit happens, you move on. For men, since the beginning of recorded history, the purpose of romantic involvement with a woman was, in most cases, the optimal creation of a man's lineage and exclusivity regarding regarding any and all sexual actions taken by a woman. Meaning, within a man's means, he sought to guarantee the most attractive kids, as many kids as he could have, and to set his children up with every advantage as possible, and to guarantee within a realm of certainty that the kids he believed to be his own seed were in fact that. No one wanted to be cuckolded, unless they were a cuckold. Something I've never understood. Before the second sexual revolution, there wasn't dating. It was just that. It was just courtship. There was no wasting a woman's time or taking her virginity and then throwing her to the side. I'm sure it happened, since there's always exceptions to the rule, but at this point, women had every advantage within the dating market, as opposed to today, where the small percentage of men that get women are the ones who have every advantage. The process of courtship was referral-based. Fathers were around, masculine figures were around, be it a father, be it an uncle, be it a brother. You had to have a referral from one of these individuals. There were no lanes or paths to getting laid that would avoid these figures, that would avoid potential community shame. A woman's innocence and purity being such a massive deal breaker for marriage that it was, that shit was well protected. And any man that sought to take that would have to prove an ability to provide and protect for that woman. But in the end, when a man completed the process of 9 out of 10 times, he got, as we've stated before, what the purpose of dating was for most men. Even though courting was never about what women think they want or what they find to be the most attractive, it was about what was best for women long term. It was about protecting and providing resources for women, and that is what was always offered. In modern dating, offering protection or provisioning for a lifetime is not required for each instance of dating to occur, and most of these situations do not afford a man the optimal creation of his lineage or to guarantee that the kids they have would be his. For most men, modern dating barely even offers an abundance of sex, let alone sexual exclusivity. For the small percentage of men that play the game well, at least there's still an abundance of sexual options, but still not much opportunity for a successful marriage and kids and exclusivity. Just hypergamy is running rampant. Thusly, both groups of men have needed to adapt to fit hypergamy and its effect on the market as a whole. Hypergamy being a woman's desire to date a man and have him be the best she can get, the best option. Women are always looking for the best option, just hypergamy, and that's just in general. Ironically, neither gender really benefits from this change market. Women don't benefit. Ironically, women continue to be the ones most vocal about their power and sexual freedom and call men gay for acknowledging the current dating market and how it fucks women the most. Like, it literally completely fucks them. Like, they were brainwashed to think that being an online prostitute is somehow empowering, trying to compete with 21-year-olds at 32 and ending up homeless or on antidepressants with no man or kids at age 40 because
everyone is different. Statistics are real. I'm special. I know.
I know I'll end up differently than the 3 million women that have done the same shit and had the same result that I don't want. But fuck. The dating market has changed. The interdynamics between men and women have changed. And thusly, men have had to, in regard to the interdynamics between men and women. What men get from the process, courtship, has changed, and men have adapted. The dynamics of dating will always change, but the core desires of men and women have not. What women say they want has changed, but men that successfully reproduce with women have always offered the same things. Not what women say they're attracted to, but what their actions show they are actually desiring for the purpose of providing sexual opportunities for the opposite sex. Exhibit B, use it or lose it. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. Just keep that in mind here. Use it or lose it. Since the dawn of man, when a man sees, touches, smells, senses in any way, shape, or form an attractive woman, a biological response occurs. His brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward, and this leads to feelings of excitement and heightened senses and arousal, and additionally, his testosterone levels increase, and changes in his cortisol levels increase as well, alongside his feelings of positivity. He sees an opportunity because essentially a man, I'm sure you've heard this as well, a man will fuck anything. So any attractive woman, a man since the dawn of time has seen as a potential opportunity to have sex. And thusly, testosterone shoots up. Studies have actually shown that a man's hunger is suppressed as well when he's aroused, when he's around attractive women. All these things contribute to a man's drive. Most men are just naturally driven by most women. So most women have in the past triggered this response. So why aren't men, all of the characteristics, the biological responses that I just mentioned, just walking around in modern America today? There are a few reasons for this. Again, we go back to use it or lose it. So I served in the Army for a few years, and while in my unit, I eventually learned about government budget guidelines, oversight, and all kinds of other shit. And I bring this up to talk about budget surpluses, right? Though not exclusively a military thing, we'll just focus on this example. If you have an excess of a budget and you go ahead and utilize it before next year's budget restrictions are actually written down and passed out, you're more likely than not just going to still have the same budget. If you do not utilize that budget, then it's going to be a bitch and a half to actually get back that surplus. Use it or lose it. If you use it, you get to keep it. If you don't use it, you lose it. So the biological response that stems from a desire to procreate, i.e., men to enact their evolutionary roles as men, all of those things that occur when a woman is attractive and a man sees that or senses that or feels that or smells that. Prior to the last 60 years, the majority of women in America and the Western world smiled, showed appreciation, overall praised and respected men that embodied and embraced these roles: the leader, the protector, the provider. The fact that a man's hunger was suppressed when he saw an attractive woman. His testosterone levels were raised. He was ready to perform. He was ready to defend and protect. He's ready to provide for, to be a man, to sacrifice. Women respected that. Now there is a huge gap, respect and value that most men place on most women versus the respect and value that most women place on most men. Most men don't see themselves as having opportunities to have sex with most women. Most men understand the criteria needed or laid out by these women, and thusly they feel that they can't meet the quota. They just choose to have a less stressful life. Either way, they don't see the opportunity to have sex, or the odds, they don't believe that they could actually have sex with most women, and thusly none of those responses are triggered. Across the US, majority of men reasonably assume that most women are out of their league. So, seeing no hope of procreation with even mildly attractive women, they enter a negative psychosomatic state. Their body does not increase the production of needed chemicals to fucking create people. If they grind for 20 years and do more than just the main storyline quests, most men in America will still pay full price just to get some refurbished pussy. They can only ever hope to work hard and create wealth and still receive the same outcome. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Also, they're mostly addicted to is the silent killer. Let me paint you a picture. Jim from 1950 sees an attractive woman at the market. His body responds. Testosterone surges. He approaches her, courts her, marries her, has 4 kids. Mission fucking accomplished. Jim from 2024 is a different circumstance. Jim sees an attractive woman at Starbucks. She's got her AirPods in. She posts on Instagram about how men are trash. Jim goes home, opens, jerks off to some OnlyFans girl who looks nothing like the women that are actually available to him, and his brain thinks he just mated with 15 different women. His body's like, mission accomplished, boss, and stops producing the chemicals that would make him actually pursue real women. The numbers don't lie. Average testosterone levels have dropped 30% since the 1980s. 1 in 3 men under 30 hasn't had sex in the last year. Porn addiction affects 68% of men below the age of 38. Erectile dysfunction medication prescriptions for men under 40 has increased 312% since 2010. Your great-grandfather would beat your ass if he knew you were choosing pixels over pussy. Here we are. Circumcision. Speaking of L's, let's talk about how most American men start life by having part of their dicks cut off. Yep, I said it. Like, I'm not here to debate religious practices, but let's call a spade a spade. You're removing thousands of nerve endings that evolution put there for a fucking reason. Those nerves, they're supposed to make sex feel incredible, so you'll want to do it more and make more humans. It's not rocket science. Studies show that circumcised men have 75% less sensitivity during intercourse, higher rates of erectile dysfunction, and increased likelihood of needing visual stimulation porn to maintain arousal. So we're taking the baby boys, cutting off part of their sexual organs, then wondering why they need extreme visual stimulation to get off 20 years later. Make it make sense. Exhibit C. Men still want to protect and provide. Have you seen Mulan? Remember that song?
That's what I said. A girl worth fighting for.
A girl worth fighting for. Men built the world to make women's lives easier. Men have invented the majority of the world's inventions to do so. The dishwasher, the laundry machine, dildos, tampon. No, okay. To protect women, men have always treated their lives as expendable. Fuck the movie The Titanic. I hate that shit. Most men would lay their lives down to protect most women without knowing them, in the past and to this day. It's still, I would argue that it's still what most men feel and most men would do. It's just far and few in between that they feel that most women in the West could deserve that treatment. But still, we still have examples of that today. So in 2015, a medical student stopped his car at 4 a.m. to help a woman that was being attacked. And this was in Louisiana, and he ended up getting shot. He didn't care for his life, in regard to whether or not he could potentially have to sacrifice it to save a person on the side of the road. That's what he did. In 2017, a bartender saved a wounded woman from a Las Vegas massacre. It was a mass shooting. This woman was terrified and happened to crawl underneath, I believe, behind a barrel and underneath a stand. And this guy heard her screams, and bullets are still flying. And instead of getting out of there, him and another gentleman actually went and rescued her and pulled her out and took her to safety. And one could argue these are one-off situations and don't reflect the majority of men in the West. And I say nay. I say bullshit. When men make up the large majority of firefighters, with 95.6 of firefighters being men, 82.9% of police officers are men, around 75% of EMTs and paramedics are men. Men account for the majority of first-line supervisor roles as well. Police officers, detectives, and unfortunately, it's still pretty common to hear women in America say that though the heroic men of the past were hardworking, rugged war heroes, that the men of today are broke, weak, and soft. Modern women online and in real life openly say, "Why are men of today so weak? Where are the providers and protectors of old? I deserve a good man." The thing is, no one deserves shit. No one deserves shit. Shit. And the majority of men are not weak and broke. I mean, the majority of men are stupid, but the majority of the world is stupid. I'm just saying, that's okay. It's okay to state the facts. Most people are stupid, and most people don't deserve shit, or no one deserves shit. Most men have always accepted this. It's simply the results have changed. Myron Gaines, in his book, Why Women Deserve Less, Amazon bestseller, stated this pretty perfectly. In dating, like, women want to look at modern dating as courtship and dating whenever they want. Like, they can switch between the two, whichever benefits them most. If acting like a lady will get them the best result, then they do that. If not doing that will get them the best result, then they do that. But regardless of anything, men must always look at it as courtship. Men must bring our end of the contract. The protection, the provisioning, the providing. And I know that provisioning and providing are, synonymous with each other. I get that. But we must bring our half of the contract. They don't bring their half of the contract. The best you can do, the best you can hope for, is that you bring your half of the contract and then she brings some of her part. It's hard not to change. Why wouldn't you change? It would be stupid to do the same thing and expect a different result when we see the vast majority of how the vast majority of marriages end in America. It would just be stupid. It would literally be insanity. So let me paint you a picture though. Meet Jim. Jim has no ambitions of becoming president or to be wealthy. He's always been a simple man, takes great pride in his carpentry skills and auto mechanic experience. He knew because he was born in the 1950s, the goddamn 1950s, the beautiful golden 1950s for dating anyway, courtship, just beautiful. I loved it. Not that I was born then, but from what I've read, it just seems perfect. In this age, if a man was at least hardworking in a labor-intensive job, he had a pretty fair chance that a woman within his community, a 3-mile, 5-mile radius, that was his community, that was his reach. And whoever was in that community, that was their reach as well. He could, with confidence, say that he would likely marry a woman within that community without having to too much from his path, or at all from his path, and to pursue ambitious ends. He still had a fair chance. I meet Sarah. Sarah lives in the same area as Jim. Population size 2 million, tribe population size 220. Sarah chose to enroll in their town's community college, but she eventually wanted a family and new education, what family men cared about. Sarah lived at home with her parents while studying. She in fact took more care and put effort into her part-time work at a children's daycare offered by the local church. Most days she practiced cooking with her mom and spent time with her father. Maybe it was Sarah's appreciation for the nature of men as protectors. Maybe it was peer pressure from Sarah's mom informing her of how hard life would be at 50 years old with no man by her side. Possibly been her entire community openly sharing or their common views on promiscuous women. I theorize that time has already given us the answer, and it was all fucking 3. It was the peer pressure, because women are group thinkers and being pressured into doing things, they usually fall into it. Now women are pressured now in like high schools to be sluts. Like, oh, you're still a virgin? And they're shamed for that. And that's crazy to me. Peer pressure is a good thing, if it's inviting you to not be a slag. Anyway, Jim saw Sarah at their local market, spoke with her every few days, and expressed his fondness of her. Seemingly, she was fond of him and always seemed to be waiting there for him as he entered. This went on for a month. Before ever meeting outside of the market, Jim expressed his intentions with her father, who invited Jim over to their home for dinner. Sarah still lived at home, could surmise that after the requesting of marriage from her hand, requesting her hand from her father, purchasing a home, and getting married, he could reasonably assume that each day he would be able to return from work and find his smiling wife that appreciated his efforts. She not only understood that he was taking responsibility for her and their family's well-being, but also appreciated it. Sarah also knew that Jim had also knowingly signed himself up to potentially die should her life or their kids' lives be in danger. And that made her appreciate Jim and men as a whole even more. That's a woman worth dying for. A woman worth fighting for. Fast forward to 2024. Jim still exists, but now he's competing with every dude in a 50-mile radius on dating apps. Her 847 Instagram DMs from thirsty simps. The fantasy men she seeks on TikTok. Her ex, who's just a friend but still comments fire emojis on her pics. The sugar daddy offering to pay her rent. Sarah 2024, she's been told she's a boss babe who don't need no man. She's 29. She does that thing. She does that clapping thing. Yeah. She has a body count higher than a Call of Duty match lobby, $40,000 in student loans for a sociology degree, and posts daily about how she deserves a real man while friend-zoning every decent guy who approaches her for not being 6'4" with a trust fund. What men actually want hasn't changed. Youth and beauty. Men are visual creatures. A 22-year-old will always be more attractive than a 32-year-old. Facts don't care about your feelings. Fuck your feelings. Femininity. This masculine energy, I can do everything a man can do bullshit. Actual feminine energy that complements masculine energy, if you believe in that energy bullshit. Loyalty. A woman, monkey branch the second a better option shows interest. But I mean, I don't believe that could happen. I don't believe women can truly be loyal. I think you should just trust women to be women. It is what it is. Accept them for their nature. And they should accept you for your nature. The fact that you can love a woman and fuck as many as you possibly can and still love her. That's your nature, and they might find it ugly. That's your nature. and they want security at all costs. And that's their nature. It's hard to accept, but it is what it is. Man wants peace, a home that's a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Sexual enthusiasm, no duty sex, not this. I guess we can if you want, or is it wet? Stick it in. You know, like actual desire, respect, understanding that respect to a man is what love is to a woman. But what are men offered today? Women with high body counts who appear bonded with their vibrators, single mothers looking for a bailout, career women who view relationships as power struggles, women who have been ran through by the whole starting lineup but want to take it slow with you. And then they wonder why men are checking out. I'm just going to explain this. The whole body count thing, even if you can't wrap your head around it, for some reason, I don't know why, it's so, you know what, I don't think it's hard for women to wrap their heads around it. I think it's just their nature to just push back at what men like and to what men value. And it's especially hard for them to hear something that says basically, hey, you're out of the race. Just this is something that you can't change about yourself, and most men aren't going to take you seriously because of it. And when they hear something like that, they just fight back. It's their nature. They're children. You tell them they can't do something, there's nothing they can do. They throw a temper tantrum. It's just, here are just some facts as to why virginity has always been valued. Always. By cultures across the fucking globe. Always. Virginity was often considered a virtue denoting purity and physical self-restraint, and is an important characteristic in even Greek mythology. Let me drop some fucking history on you. In ancient Rome, the Vestal Virgins weren't just some religious side piece. They were the most respected women in the entire empire. These women took a 30-year vow of chastity to tend the sacred flame of Vesta. Their virginity was so valued that they had rights no other women had. They could own property, make wills, vote. They got front row seats at the Colosseum. If you fucked with a Vestal Virgin, you got buried alive. Not killed, buried alive. If a Vestal Virgin broke her vow, also buried alive. They didn't fuck around. They didn't play. And it wasn't just Rome. Every civilization that's built anything worth a damn protected female virginity like it was the nuclear fucking codes. Also, the Vestal Virgins, at the end of their 30-year walk, or the run, whatever you want to call it, they were given the option to either a private property as well as riches given to them. They could just walk away, or they could marry, they could do whatever they wanted, or they could continue on for the rest of their lives as a Vestal Virgin. In most cases, the women actually chose to take their riches in their land, and they never married, and they were just alone. At that point, you're old, and most of the men don't want you. And also, the only men that would want you are the ones, well, I couldn't say why. Why would men at that point want an old woman that's filthy rich? But that old woman that's filthy rich is only going to want men that are older than her and that are filthy rich. But the kings and the royalty are not going to fuck with old rich woman because it does nothing for them, you know? So at that point, she's kind of checked herself out. So even at that point, hypergamy, you know, just worked its magic. Women have really not changed, but they're not the point here today. That's next episode. So just pointing that out is pretty interesting. But anyway, the original fuck around and find out. You know where the term shotgun wedding comes from? Picture this. 1800s America, some smooth-talking Johnny convinces Farmer Brown's daughter to give up the goods with promises of marriage. Johnny tries to ghost. Daddy Brown shows up at Johnny's door with a fucking shotgun and two options. You're either walking down that aisle or getting carried out in a box. Oogie. That's not toxic masculinity, brothers. That's a father protecting his daughter's value in a world where a woman's virginity was literally her meal ticket to a stable marriage and not dying in fucking poverty. Medieval Europe, deflowering a virgin could result in castration or death. Colonial America, Seduction laws made it illegal to seduce an unmarried woman with false promises of marriage. Japan. Samurai could legally kill any man who dishonored their daughter. Feudal Japan. God, I fucking love it. I love Japan. The Middle East still happens today. Get the rocks, Abdul. Honor killings for both parties. Cut that bitch's head. I'm not promoting that. I'm just saying it's a thing. It's funny. It's a thing. I'm a comedian. Victorian England. Men were forced to pay breach of promise settlements that could bankrupt them. You said you'd marry me if I sucked your dick. I can't do a good British accent, so I'm not going to try here. Moving on. Every society understood something we've forgotten. A woman's sexual history matters. Not because of some patriarchal oppression bullshit, but because pair bonding is real. Paternity certainty matters, and virginity was the L France for fucking making it illegal for the husband to get a DNA test without the wife's permission. Like, fucking L France. Fuck France. Paternity certainty matters, and virginity was the ultimate proof of a woman's self-control and loyalty. Think about it. If she couldn't keep her legs closed for Chad at the tavern when she was 19, what makes you think she'll keep them closed for your neighbor Brad? Chad and Brad, maybe they're related here, when you're 40 with a mortgage and she's finding herself. Our ancestors weren't stupid. And the people from different fucking walks of life, completely different sectors of the earth, the dawn of man, these people were not stupid, and they couldn't communicate, and they reached the same fucking conclusion. They knew that the best predicator of future behavior is past behavior. Why is this fucking controversial? It's just English. It's common sense. It shouldn't be controversial. It really shouldn't be. A virgin bride means you're definitely the father of your kids. She hasn't peer bonded with another man's dick. She has self-control and can delay gratification. She respects herself enough to not give it away. She views sex as special, not recreational. Single moms, recreational use only. But somewhere along the way, we decided all this ancient wisdom was oppressive and outdated. And let's see how that's working out. Among cohorts of women turning 15 between 1964 and 1993, at least 91% have had premarital sex by age 30. As of 2004, 70% of adolescent females have had sex by age 19. The number of women who were virgins when they were married has dropped each decade since the 1970s, from 21% then to 5% in the 2010s. And this study perfectly illustrates the marriage climate we currently face in America right now. In a 2011 study by Anthony Paik at the University of Iowa, he found that females who first had sex in their teens had roughly double the risk of divorce later in life compared to women who had their first unmarried sexual experience in their adult years. So follow me here. According to the CDC, they report that the percent of virgins aged 20 to 24 in the U.S. today is likely around 12.3% for women, and the number drops to below 5% for women virgins from ages 25 to 29. The number of future wives who had 10 or more sexual partners was 2% in the 1970s, 14% in the 2000s, 18% in the 2010s, and we can only speculate what it is for now in 2025. The climate has drastically changed. The dating climate, the dating market, end result you could have is fucked. And so it's like, of course men have changed. Men are problem solvers by nature. You put us in that problem, and if we can't solve it, we'll just go fuck ourselves. Like, that's it. All right, I'll just go fuck myself. I'll just go play video games. I mean, and watch fucking porn. It makes sense. It makes sense. You just fall into the matrix. I get it. It makes sense. It makes sense. And thusly, Exhibit D. Men's exodus. Here's what's really happening. Men aren't changing. They're adapting, as I said. When the game is rigged, smart players stop fucking playing. The stats: marriage rates at historical lows, 63% of men 18 to 29 are single versus 34% of women. Male college enrollment dropping yearly, passport bros movement growing 400% year over year. Men are doing the math. Why bust your ass for 20 years to maybe get a woman who divorce rates you at 70%, takes half your shit, uses the kids as weapons, was probably getting piped by Chad or Brad, his cousin, remember that? While you were working overtime. Nah. Men are choosing video games over dinner dates, porn over persecution, solitude over servitude, foreign women over feminist ideology. Conclusion, the uncomfortable truth. So have men changed? Our nature remains the same. We still want to build, protect, provide, and procreate with attractive, loyal women. Our strategies have adapted to a marketplace that no longer values what we offer. The modern man faces a choice. Option 1, play the rigged game, become top 10% in looks, money, status, accept that you're sharing these women, never show weakness, prepare for inevitable divorce grape. Option 2, flip the board, focus on your purpose, not pussy, build wealth for yourself, not to impress women, consider foreign markets where masculinity is still valued, passport bros, accept the Norman Rockwell fantasy is dead. Option 3, fucking leave the casino, go full monk mode, focus entirely on self-improvement, let the market crash and burn, wait for the inevitable correction, whenever the fuck that is. Look, I'm not here to sugarcoat shit. The dating market is fucked. Western women have priced themselves out of the market while simultaneously lowering their value. Men are responding rationally by either becoming the wolves women claim to hate but secretly crave, or by walking away entirely. The modern man's manual isn't about crying about it. It's about understanding reality and making strategic decisions based on facts, not feelings. Because at the end of the day, we're still men. We adapt, we overcome, we survive. Our grandfathers stormed beaches and built nations. The least we can do is navigate this clusterfuck of a dating market with our balls intact. Bruh. Next episode, we're talking about have women changed. It'll be interesting. Until then, stay strong, stay focused, and remember, she's not yours. It's just your turn, bro. Thanks for watching, guys. If the video made you think, then like it. Drop a comment below if you were triggered, or even better, if you agree, because you have some semblance of common sense. Let's talk about it. Subscribe if you want more. And I'll leave you with this. When a man truly loves a woman, his biology shifts. His body starts producing chemicals that push him to protect and to provide for her. On the other side, when a woman loves a man, she trusts him. She trusts him inexplicably, wholeheartedly, with the things that she values the most. It's just fucking biology. Call it solipsistic, call it narcissistic, whatever. The things that women value the most are themselves and their children. And for them to truly trust a man, that's how they display love. For them to truly trust a man with those things. That's it. Follower, leader, that's it. Everything about male-female dynamics at its core is just biology. Would help. That's it. That's what red pill is. Because right now, there's a divide between the genders. And neither side is winning. And neither side really understands the other. People are hooking up. Some people are hooking up. Men out here aren't really fucking. But women are. But they're not getting married. So no one's really winning. And that's where the red pill comes in. Red pill is the truth. And it can be used to create angry incels, or it can be used as a tool to bridge the divide. Because people have a tendency, naturally, to reject that which they do not understand, to fear that which they do not understand. And when we, and I say we, as if I've already been doing it for so long, but outside of podcasting, I have been doing it, and it's frustrating. I see exactly where all the red pill podcasters are coming from, like FreshnFit, Rollo Tomasi, like simply telling people the basic fucking truth of biology is seen as controversial these days, and it shouldn't be. It's very simple. This is what we are. This is what they are. If you understand what a man is and what a woman is, then you can then break it down and work backwards and say, well, women want this, men want that, get that. This is how I get that which I want once. The thing that I want wants this, so this is how I will go ahead and get that. Just for example, because I think I'm speaking fucking Mandarin right here. So women like men that have status. And it makes no sense to get upset that women like men that have status. Don't you want some fucking status? Women like men that have money. Don't you want some fucking money? Wouldn't you like some fucking money? Don't you want to deserve good fucking things? Don't you want nice shit? Then don't bitch about it. Become a high value man. Build status, build resources, build the best version of you. Don't hate the rules, master the game. And that's what this channel will be talking about. We'll be talking about the things that build a high value man. We'll be helping men with, not just with women, but with life. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about status. Let's talk about skills. Let's talk about charisma. Let's talk about self-respect. Let's talk about money, because I say it twice, because money fucking matters. Money is not the root of all evil. Not having money is the fucking problem. And yeah, we'll occasionally talk about what women want, but mainly we'll focus on becoming the kind of man who doesn't chase because he attracts. And that's what the modern man's manual is about. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys out there.